So Amo, congratulations. We've been following you today, and a little surprise that just happened for your 25-year anniversary of your dedicated services to Disability Direct. How do you feel?
I was speechless for one of the very few occasions in my life where my mouth went dry. I didn't know what to say, and I wasn't expecting it. I think it's testament to the staff who here are committed to the cause, and the belief they have in me to steer the ship. So I'm chuffed. On a wider scale, I'm not surprised that they would do that, because they do look after me. On every milestone occasion, they have given me some kind of celebration. But considering the fact that we've been talking a lot today about the past and the journey I've taken so far, it's kind of it got a little bit emotional, and for the first time I almost had a tear in my eye. So I'm chuffed, absolutely delighted. I'm honoured, and some really kind words by trustees who were there from day one, ex-staff members, and then people from Derby City Council who. It's not been an easy relationship I've had with Derby City Council. I've been a big critique, should I say, of some of the things they've done, but it's been a great relationship that we get on with each other, and there's been no animosity. And as the council rep said there, we through the work that I've done with Disability Direct, we're seen as an ally rather than an adversary. So. Humbling, very humbled, still in a little bit of shock, but wow, what a way to celebrate 25 years. They all expect me to buy them a drink now, so I might have to.
It can be important to celebrate these milestones, and does it feel like important to you to celebrate the achievements as a charity?
Yeah, absolutely. Last year was DD's 25 years. I joined a few weeks after DD started, so for the last 12 months we've done nothing but reflect on the work we've achieved as an organisation. So I'm absolutely it kind of fills you with energy again that we've made some achievements, and it points me back in the direction of that original aim that I've always had. And this is going to sound strange, but my ideal scenario is where we live in a world where we don't need Disability Direct. We should be at a stage where Disability Direct doesn't exist, not for funding reasons, but because there's no need.
Well, this brings me to the pledge you made today with your staff as they presented you with some commemorative gifts to congratulate you on your 25 years service. Tell us about your pledge for the future.
Yeah, that was a bit off the cuff, but yes, recently I have been the victim myself of a piece of what can only be described as a hate-related incident as a disabled person. And since that incident became public knowledge, my phone went mad. I had 13 disabled people within a 7-day period from across the city contact me and say, I've gone through something similar. And it reminded me that there's work to be done. And that's why downstairs now, when we were cutting that cake, it came to my head, I thought, what better opportunity to mark this occasion than to make a pledge that DD, whilst I'm here, I will do everything I can to eradicate harassment and discrimination of disabled people in Derby. And whether it happens within 10 years or not is another thing, but it'll focus me, and it'll focus the rest of the organisation again to work towards that goal.
Well, as you reflect on these 25 years and you're looking ahead and looking at your plans for the future, is there a sort of more thought at the moment about the kind of legacy you do want to leave behind?
Whoa, legacy. I hadn't thought about that. The legacy I want to leave behind is, as long as it's within the DNA of the organisation to co-produce with disabled people, to allow disabled people to basically create and run their own services. What better legacy then can there be? That if we've started something, if I've been part of that journey for the organisation, and I've put systems in place here that allow disabled people to come up with ideas and then prosper with them, that for me is something that I'll be really proud. It's always strange when you start looking at. There comes a point when I'm thinking, when am I going to leave this place? At some stage. I mean, I'm getting older. I've spent half my life here, and at some stage I'm going to get tired. Physically, I am tired. Mentally, I can still take anybody on, but physically, I'm starting to feel it. So at some stage, I'm going to say, well, when do I hang the boots up? I've got a date in my head, and I've shared it quite openly with everybody here. They don't believe me, but I've said 2024. I want to be in a position where someone else is sitting in this seat and making their own decisions. The board have said in the past that when I do go there, there's always a seat at the table at the board for me. But in all honesty, do I want to do that? Because I don't want the new person sitting here having me looking over their shoulders. It's not going to be fair on them. So I'd give it a few years. My family have suffered. Not me not having me around. They've missed me. As I said earlier, my children were that big when I started here. They're all grown up, and I'm missing those special moments that I could have had with them. And they love me to bits. They still, and I know that they say it a lot, that they're proud of what I'm doing in the community. But it's the part of me wants to spend time with them.
I think all parents out there, there's a good message about grappling with the want to role model to kids about pursuing your goals and your dreams at wanting time as well. Have there been some sacrifices made along the way? And
there have been sacrifices. As I say, I've missed out on a lot. Luckily, the children have grown up to be successful in their own right. But I still miss the fact that I didn't kick a football around with my lad as much as I could have done. Or simply because I was too busy at this seat trying to build an empire. But yeah, there comes a time when I know I'm going to say it's time to put my feet up, well, probably put my feet up is the wrong thing, because I know I'll get bored. I'll probably be doing something. That's the company that I've set up, the business consultancy. I know that's going to keep me busy with one or two clients. I'll keep them just to keep the old grey matter going.
So although you already started to think about succession planning and an exit strategy, in reality, Disability Direct's probably a bit your baby, isn't it? Do you think it will be a difficult step to take to hand it on to somebody else? People
say Disability Direct's my baby, but it's not. It was the brainchild of a chap called Richard Shaw, who felt there was a need for service in the city. Richard left a couple of years after, and I ended up holding what I also call a toddler. And I grabbed that toddler and we ran through to a stage where it's now, a young adult. We went through the difficult teenage years with that toddler, trust me. But it is now, a young adult in itself, and it is. I do feel very connected to it. It's in my DNA now. It's really nice everywhere I go. I could be shopping in Sainsbury's or wherever, and people recognise me because of my role here. And it's really nice to someone will come up to me who I don't know. I've never met them in my life, and they'll say, "Your organisation helped my grandmother," or "Your organisation did this for my brother or sister." And even though I don't know them, I know the story. I know exactly what they've gone through, and so that fills me with pride. And it's a nice connection that I want to keep. And even when I have left, I'll still know that the organisation's still doing something, that I've had something to do with that. So there's an element of pride there that I will quite happily like to continue.